Hi everyone, and welcome to another video. So in this video I'm going to show you my latest painting that I've just finished called Dependency, and I'll be discussing how this painting came about, some of the references I used, and some of the new techniques that I tried. So enjoy. So this is Dependency. It's an acrylic and oil on linen. I stretched the linen over some MDF panel, and it's 60 by 90 centimeters. So it's quite a large one for me. I haven't done a big one for a little while. So it's nice to stretch out. So where did this particular painting come from? So it all started when I was watching something. I can't remember what I was watching, but I don't know if this happens to many artists, but I watch something and just get glimpses of an image or something like that will pop into my head. So I actually got a glimpse of a dog sitting next to a pipe, and it was nighttime or really dark out where the dog was sitting, but inside the pipe was daytime and quite light. And so I got this flash, this image kind of flashed in my head, and so I quickly sketched it down like I do whenever that happens. And then I knew I wanted to do something with it, so I grabbed out my gouache set and just painted it out in gouache, because I really wanted to make sure that the contrast between the night or the dark sky and the pipe, the daylight inside the pipe was going to work. So I sketched it out, and I'll put that gouache study up in the corner here somewhere. And I left it at that because I knew, even though it was a good start, I knew that I could potentially make it into something a lot more. I wanted it to tell a story, and at the moment the story didn't quite, there wasn't enough there. It didn't have enough bones. So I waited, it would have been at least 1 or 2 weeks for sort of another flash, a bit more inspiration to arrive. And I was out walking down the park one day. If you look at my Instagram feed, every Tuesday is park day. We go for a walk down the park, and I take lots of photos and videos. And I saw, I always take my phone and take photos, and there was this grotty looking pond. It had all this green scum in it, and then it was a wintry day, so there was the dead trees in the background and the dead grass, and then I thought, oh, what if there was some kids playing in this dirty, scummy pond? And that was the contrast that I was looking for between the outer world where the dog and the kids are playing, but then there's this potential to go inside this pipe where this whole other clean, beautiful, sunny other world is. So I was out walking, got the next flash, and came home and rustled up some reference images. So the two girls playing in the puddle, I think I got from either Pexels. I think it was Pexels. Might have been Pixabay. I'm pretty sure it was Pexels. But either site both provide copyright-free images, and you can also upload your own to share with others too, which is good. So yeah, I get a lot of my reference images from those two. And the dog, the Doberman, I think was also on Pexels. The pond was my own reference photo, and the trees and the grass were my own photos. The pipe, I just looked up some concrete pipes on the internet, and the original image actually was flipped the other way. So I just flipped it in my gallery program, whatever it is on my phone, and and then I made up the sky, I made up the flags, and the cone or the witch's hat in the pond, that was another reference image that I took on one of my walks down the creek. And what else? All the white flowers in the creek flowing past the dog. I also got that off Pexels. So yeah, so a lot of made up stuff, but the composition is made up, but just drawing from a lot of different references, both my own and others. So yeah, that's how I came about this particular painting. So it really came from that dog and the pipe was like the start of it. So I've spoken about references. So some new techniques I tried. I really struggled with this surface of the canvas or the linen, because I was in such a hurry to get it started. I was really excited, and I think I only primed it twice. Once with a straight white gesso, and then the second coat was some gesso tinted with some just acrylic, just to give it a tint. And I really should have primed it quite a few more times, because even though I sanded it back, the linen still really sucked up a lot of the oil, and the surface itself, you can see, as I'm painting, it's actually really rough. So a lot of the paint was applied with really rough bristle brushes, just so I could get the paint into the linen. So that was kind of disappointing, and something you look back on and go, oh yeah, I won't do that again. That was silly. But it didn't, in the end, once I put on, a couple of acrylic, the acrylic block in, and then a couple of coats of the oil, and then once I varnished it, because it's not varnished at this stage, I think it'll be okay. It'll be fine. And unless you actually get right up close to it, you can't actually see a lot of the little holes where the paint hasn't managed to find its way into. But yeah, so I intend to paint on some sanded wood panels for the next couple, just because they're super smooth and nice. So some new techniques I tried. I've been watching Steve Schmiller's. If you're not familiar with Steve Schmiller, have a look at his YouTube channel, and he's also on Instagram. I'm not sure about Facebook because I don't have Facebook. So he is really big on creating these super soft edges, and if you look at his work close up, and if you watch his videos, you can actually see how he gets his edges so soft. And so that's something that I really want to concentrate on in this painting and moving forward into all my others, is just making sure that my edges aren't all really hard, and have that, I don't want my edges to be so well defined that my subject matter just, is in focus a lot. I want some things to blend into the background, and in order to do that, I need to work on my edges. So, just making sure that after the initial layers, I go in and oil out around the edges and just with more paint just soften, apply the paint and then use another brush to kind of just soften it out. And so there's softening of the edges. The other technique I took from Steve is his kind of use of like a halo effect, like a lighting effect. In Steve's, he uses like bright yellows and reds and whites to create this really strong lighting effect. And it's beautiful, like from far away, it just kind of all blends and your eye interprets this glowing object. But if you watch him paint, it's, many layers, painstakingly built up, with all the different colours. But anyway, so in this one, I wanted to create this glowy or highlight effect on the dog, particularly because it was right next to the pipe, where there was a lot of daylight coming out, and the reflection off the water, the little creek. I knew I wanted to try this technique on the dog, so again I just oiled out along the edge, and you'll see it here in a minute. I create that kind of highlight effect on the dog, and then I also used that on the girl in the pink dress. I used that on her dress as well, and on part of her sleeve and a little bit in her hair and legs. Pardon me. So I'm just painting in these imaginary flags. Again, I didn't really have a reference for them. I hope that isn't obvious. I tried to make them look like they were receding by making them smaller as they were going off into the distance. I hope it worked. But anyway, if not, I'm sure you'll let me know. So what else? Oh, the other technique I tried was using Impasto Medium, so Winsor & Newton liquid impasto. So I've seen Chuck Black use this a lot in his newer paintings, and with fairly high level of success. If you've seen Chuck Black's YouTube videos, man, in the last couple of years that guy's just blossomed. He is using that wet on wet technique, and using liquid original to lay down his colours, and then using the impasto gel on top to create just beautiful blades of grass or whatever leaves texture he needs to create. So I tried that in the grass on my painting. So wet on wet, because usually when I work wet on wet, it just turns to mud. And I usually only use linseed as a medium. So I put down the layer of liquid original like base coat, so a darker coat, and then using the impasto over the top to put in the highlights. And I was actually really happy with the way the grass turned out in this painting. I'm not a fan generally of heavy paint technique, like big globs of paint. I just don't like it. So it's not super heavy. I didn't put it on super heavy, but it's just enough so that I could still work wet on wet and layer on that thicker paint. So here I am putting the glowy bits on around the dog's head, the Doberman, and on his legs and stuff. So I oiled out first and then applied the paint. And yep, so with a clean brush, and then just soften the edges. If the linen wasn't so rough, I probably could have softened out without oiling out, but it is what it is. So now I'm just putting some glowy bits on the skin and the dresses and things. I actually gave the girl in the pink dress, I actually gave her a facelift afterwards. I realised when I finished their dresses and such, and I stood back, and there was just something wrong with her face. And I didn't draw the girls in using a transfer like I normally did. I actually drew it in freehand. And knowing full well that I was probably going to have issues, and of course I did. So yeah, I gave her a facelift. I realised that the fold in her cheek was almost too vertical, and I had to kind of put it more on a diagonal angle. Anyway, so I fixed that up and fixed her mouth up, because it was just all wrong. So yeah, that was the only part that I went back in and fixed up. So yeah, so this is the final product, and yeah, if you like what you see, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and thank you so much for your support, and thank you for watching.